can buy a mansion, you can buy a private jet, but there is a small group of people on this planet who spent more money on a dog than most people will ever see in a lifetime. Exclusive bloodlines, exotic colours, show-ring legends with price tags that make your jaw hit the floor, 10 breeds, 10 stories, and prices that climb so fast you will want to watch every single second to see where this list ends up. Let's get into it. Number 10. Akita. We open this list in the mountains of northern Japan. A wide head, thick double coat, a tail curled tight over its back, and a stare so intense it feels like it is reading your soul. This is the Akita, and it has a story worth hearing. This breed was not built to sit on a couch and look pretty. It was bred to hunt bear, wild boar and deer in freezing temperatures across rough terrain. Not track them, hunt them. Standing between 24 and 28 inches tall with a coat that comes in white, red, brindle and mixed markings, this dog is equal parts beautiful and serious. Here is something that surprises a lot of people. There are actually two types. The original Japanese Akita Inu has a fox-like face and no black mask. The American Akita, which developed after World War II, has a heavier build, a bear-like head, and a black mask is perfectly acceptable. Same name. Two very different dogs. But if there is one story that captures what this breed is truly about, it is Hachiko, an Akita who walked his owner to Shibuya Station in Tokyo every single morning without fail. When his owner died suddenly at work in 1925, Hachiko kept showing up at that station every day for the next 9 years. Not once, not twice, every single day for 9 years. There is a bronze statue of him standing at that station today, and people still stop to visit it nearly a century later. That is not just loyalty, that is something else entirely. A well-bred Akita puppy runs between $1,500 and $4,000. Champion bloodlines and imported pedigrees push that number to $15,000 or more. For a dog that waited 9 years for someone who was never coming back, $15,000 starts to feel like the least you could offer. Number 9. Pharaoh Hound. At first glance, you would bet your house this dog walks straight out of ancient Egypt. Tall, sleek, reddish-brown coat, sharp, upright ears, and a posture so regal it looks like it belongs on a hieroglyph. For a long time, everyone believed exactly that. Historians pointed at ancient Egyptian artwork and said, "That is the one. That is the dog that ran alongside pharaohs." Then DNA research came along and dismantled the entire story in one shot. The Pharaoh Hound is not Egyptian, not even close. Its true origins trace back to Malta, a tiny island in the Mediterranean, where locals call it the Kelb Talfenek. Built for hunting across rough terrain, this dog uses its eyes, nose and ears simultaneously, something rare even among dedicated hunting breeds. When it locks onto something, the acceleration is instant and the turns are razor sharp. This is not a decorative dog, it just happens to look like one. A purebred Pharaoh Hound starts at around $7,000. For a dog that was mistaken for Egyptian royalty for centuries, blushes on command, and hunts with 3 senses at once. The only real surprise is that the price is not higher. Number 8. Afghan Hound. This dog does not walk, it glides. Long silky coat, proud posture, and a stare that could cut glass. The Afghan Hound is one of those breeds that turns heads without even trying, but underneath all that beauty is a dog built for something far more serious than dog shows and magazine covers. This breed comes from the mountains and deserts of Afghanistan, Pakistan and northern India, where nomadic tribes bred it to hunt gazelle, deer, and by some accounts leopards. Not chase, not track, hunt. When this dog opens up into a full sprint, it hits between 35 and 40 miles per hour. That coat was never grown for glamour either. It is a weather suit, engineered across centuries to handle freezing mountain nights and blistering desert winds, every single strand of it earned. Then the 20th century arrived and everything changed. The Afghan Hound left the mountains and walked straight into the spotlight. Dog shows, magazine covers, celebrity ownership. It became the global face of canine elegance almost overnight, and that reputation has never faded once in over 100 years. There is something about this dog that the camera simply cannot ignore, and here is the detail that puts everything into perspective. The same coat that was built to survive leopard country, freezing nights, and desert winds, now requires twice weekly brushing, combing down to the skin, and a full bath and blow-dry every 1 to 2 weeks. The most rugged coat in the mountains became the most high-maintenance coat in the show ring. That is not irony, that is a glow-up. At home, the Afghan is graceful, a little aloof, and deeply loyal to the people it chooses. It does not give that loyalty easily, but when it does, it is unconditional. A well-bred Afghan Hound starts at around $7,500. For a dog that hunted leopards in the mountains, conquered the global show ring, and still manages to look like it just stepped off a runway, that price is not surprising. It was always inevitable. Number 7. Löwchen. Do not let the size fool you. The Löwchen is not a mini lion. It is a toy companion that has been styled like one for centuries. The name literally means little lion in German, and the look backs that up completely. Full mane across the front, closely clipped hindquarters, a curled tail and neat little cuffs at the ankles. This is not a modern grooming trend. This cut has been around since the Renaissance, showing up in paintings from France, Belgium and Germany, dating back hundreds of years. The Löwchen belongs to the Mediterranean Bichon family, sitting alongside the Bichon Frise, the Havanese and the Maltese. Same family tree, but the Löwchen kept its own distinct identity throughout. By the mid-20th century, Löwchen numbers had collapsed so dramatically that the breed was officially declared the rarest dog in the world. It came within a breath of disappearing entirely. What saved it was the determination of a Belgian woman named Madame Bennett, who launched a dedicated breeding program in 1944 and later partnered with a veterinarian named Dr. Rykoff to pull the breed back from the edge. By 1968, the Löwchen had reached Britain, and that same year it arrived in America. Even after that remarkable recovery, the Löwchen remains one of the rarest breeds on Earth and is still considered at risk of extinction today. Only a few hundred puppies are born worldwide each year. A well-bred Löwchen puppy will cost you $8,000 or more. For a dog that almost did not make it, every single one of those puppies is worth every cent. Number 6. Canadian Eskimo Dog. This is not a dog that was bred for dog shows or family photo shoots. The Canadian Eskimo Dog, also known as the Chimik, is one of the oldest working dogs in the Americas, and it earned every bit of that title the hard way. Brought to North America by the Thule people over 1,000 years ago, this dog was built for survival in some of the harshest conditions on the planet, pulling heavy sleds across frozen tundra, guiding hunters to sea ice, tracking seal holes and alerting camps when a polar bear got too close. This was not a pet. This was a working partner that people genuinely depended on to stay alive. That history is exactly why the Canadian Eskimo Dog holds the distinction of being Nunavut's official animal. The look matches the job. Thick double coat, broad chest, almond-shaped eyes in brown or amber, and upright triangular ears that stay alert no matter the temperature. This dog was built for the North, and it shows. By the mid-20th century, the arrival of snowmobiles, the spread of disease, and the decline of traditional sled teams sent the population into a freefall. In 2018, estimates put the number of purebred Canadian Eskimo dogs still alive at fewer than 300, and that number has not improved much since. You're not just buying a dog with this one, you're acquiring one of the rarest living breeds on Earth. A purebred pup costs up to $9,000, and when fewer than 300 of something exist on the entire planet, $9,000 is not a price tag, it is a privilege. Number 5. Chow Chow. That face, that coat, that stare that says it has absolutely no interest in your opinion. The Chow Chow is one of the most visually striking dogs on the planet, and it knows it. Research has confirmed that the Chow Chow originated from indigenous dogs in central China about 8,300 years ago, making it one of the oldest identifiable dog breeds in existence. This is not a modern breed dressed up in history. This is the real thing. Depictions of dogs resembling the Chow Chow have been found in pottery and paintings dating back to the Han Dynasty, between 206 BC and 220 AD. They were guarding temples, hunting wolves, and protecting livestock long before most of today's popular breeds even existed. During the Tang Dynasty, one emperor became so obsessed with the breed that he kept 5,000 Chow Chows and employed an army of 10,000 huntsmen to care for them. 5,000 dogs. That is not a pet owner. That is a man who understood power. The famous psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud was also a devoted Chow Chow owner, and his dogs often sat in on therapy sessions, providing comfort to his patients. From emperors to psychoanalysts, this breed has always attracted a certain kind of person. The look is iconic: a lion-like mane, a compact, powerful frame, and that famous blue-black tongue that is unique to this breed. Chow Chow puppies are actually born with pink tongues. The blue-black colour develops as they grow older. The temperament is equally distinctive: independent, deeply loyal to their inner circle, and completely unbothered by strangers. Essentially a cat in a very large dog's body. A premium Chow Chow puppy from a top breeder can reach up to $9,000. 8,000 years of history. 5,000 dogs in a single emperor's collection. A psychoanalyst who trusted this breed enough to let it sit in on therapy sessions. $9,000 is not expensive. For everything this dog carries, it is practically a discount. Number 4. Samoyed. If there is a dog that looks like it was made entirely of clouds, it is the Samoyed. Thick white double coat, that permanent upturned smile, and energy that does not quit. The exterior is soft. The history behind it is anything but. The Samoyed is one of the oldest and purest domestic dog breeds, dating back between 3,000 and 5,000 years, with some research suggesting possibly 8,000 or more years. The breed takes its name from the Samoyedic people of Siberia, nomadic tribes who lived in some of the most extreme conditions on Earth. These dogs did not just work for those people. They herded reindeer, hunted game, protected against predators, and were even known to scare and contain polar bears working as a pack. They were treated as members of the family, sleeping inside the same tents during brutal Siberian winters. There is a popular legend that a Samoyed named Itar led Roald Amundsen's team and became the first living thing to ever set a paw on the South Pole during his historic 1911 expedition. A great story. Historians and expedition records say it is not true, but the fact that people believed it for decades and still repeat it today says everything about the kind of mythology this breed inspires. What is verified is that Amundsen set out with 52 dogs and returned with only 11 survivors after 99 days covering 1,860 miles of the most brutal terrain on Earth. That is not a legend. That is a fact. That famous smile is not just good looks either. The upturned corners of the Samoyed's mouth actually serve a practical purpose, preventing drool from forming icicles on the face in freezing temperatures. Function and beauty in one package. A standard Samoyed puppy typically costs between $1,000 and $3,000, but dogs from champion bloodlines can reach up to $6,000. For a dog that survived polar expeditions, contained polar bears, and slept beside some of the toughest people who ever lived, $6,000 is not a luxury price. It is a history lesson you get to bring home. Number 3. Azawakh. Most people have never heard of the Azawakh, and the Azawakh does not seem to mind. This is one of the rarest sighthounds on Earth, and it carries itself like it knows that. The Azawakh originates from the Sahelian zone of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso in West Africa, bred by the Tuareg, Fula, and other nomadic peoples of the Sahara and Sub-Saharan Sahel. The Tuareg called it by a name that translates to Sighthound of the Free People. That title was earned. It was used to hunt gazelle and hare at speeds up to 65 kilometers per hour, and in its role as a guard dog, it would alert the pack at the first sign of danger before the group united to chase off or attack predators. The build is unlike anything else on this list. Lean does not even begin to cover it. The AKC breed standard actually states that a minimum of 3 to 5 ribs should be visible on a healthy Azawakh, because the breed must be this lean to exist in the heat of the desert. If you see one and think it looks underfed, you are wrong. That is the standard. The first Azawaks were welcomed to the United States in 1987, and the American Kennel Club only granted the breed full recognition in 2019. Even today, there are only around 500 Azawaks in the entire United States. 500 in the whole country. A puppy typically costs between $2,000 and $5,000, though their rarity means prices can go higher depending on the breeder and pedigree. If you manage to find one, consider yourself part of a very short list. Number 2. Tibetan Mastiff. And this one is not just expensive, it is ancient, it is massive, and it genuinely looks like something that should be guarding the gates of a lost civilization. This breed comes from the high ridges of Tibet and Nepal, where nomadic herders and monastery keepers relied on it to protect livestock, temples, and entire communities from wolves, leopards, and snow leopards. Males can stand over 29 inches tall and weigh anywhere from 100 to 150 pounds. That thick mane around the neck and shoulders is not just for show. It was designed for cold mountain altitudes and confrontations with predators that most dogs would never survive. In the Himalayan regions, Tibetan Mastiffs were valued not only for their protective abilities, but also as an essential part of the local economy, holding more trade value than yaks or goats. These dogs were literal currency. Then, in the 2000s, China's wealthy elite discovered them. Seen as symbols of power, good fortune, and success, Tibetan Mastiffs became the ultimate status accessory among Chinese celebrities, business moguls, and real estate developers. Breeders began marketing them as rare, ancient, and almost mystical, claiming they carried lion's blood in their lineage. That hype peaked in 2014. A 1-year-old golden-haired Tibetan Mastiff was sold at a luxury pet fair in eastern China for $1.95 million, in what was reported as the most expensive dog sale ever recorded at the time. The breeder described the dog as having lion's blood, and the buyer was a 56-year-old property developer from Qingdao, nearly $2 million for a dog. Quality Tibetan Mastiff puppies today start at around $10,000. The $1.95 million sale is the ceiling. But remember that number, because what is coming next makes even that feel like a bargain. Number 1. Blue French Bulldog. We have climbed from the mountains of Japan to the deserts of Africa to the frozen poles, and somehow the dog sitting at the very top of this list is a compact bat-eared snore machine from the streets of Paris. The French Bulldog story begins in 19th century England, where lace workers kept small English bulldogs as companions. When those workers relocated to France, the dogs came with them. Over time, in the hands of Parisian breeders, the breed transformed into the compact, upright-eared, flat-faced companion the world now recognises. By the time the 20th century arrived, the Frenchie had conquered Europe. In 2025, the French Bulldog became the most popular dog breed in the United States, ending the Labrador Retriever's 31-year uninterrupted run at the top. 31 years, ended by a dog that snores louder than most people. Now, a standard French Bulldog is already expensive. But the Blue French Bulldog operates in a completely different category. The blue-grey coat comes from a rare dilution gene that suppresses black pigmentation, producing a colour that the breed standard does not officially recognise, which only makes it more desirable to the people who want one. Blue and fluffy coated French Bulldogs commonly sell for between $8,000 and $10,000. But that is still not the number that matters. The number that matters is $100,000. In a now legendary episode of GQ's Most Expensivest, rapper 2 Chainz visited Houdini House in Los Angeles and came face to face with a blue French Bulldog named Micro Machine, priced at exactly $100,000. Micro Machine had reportedly bred over $500,000 worth of puppies, with a single sample of his sperm valued at $5,000. 2 Chainz held this dog. He liked it. He did not buy it. And honestly, that might be the wisest financial decision in rap history. $100,000 for a dog that cannot drive, cannot cook, and will almost certainly snore through your entire Netflix queue. But people pay it, because rarity plus demand plus the right coat colour creates a price logic that defies ordinary thinking, and the Blue French Bulldog has mastered all three. We started this list in the mountains of Japan with a dog that waited 9 years for someone who never came back. We ended it in Los Angeles with a dog whose sperm cost $5,000. That is the world of rare dogs, and now you know exactly why only millionaires play in it. And there you have it. 10 of the most expensive dogs on the planet, each one carrying a story that goes far deeper than the price tag. Because whether it is a 1,000-year-old Arctic sled dog or a blue-coated Frenchie that commands $100,000, every single breed on this list earned its place for a reason. So here is the real question. If money was completely off the table, which one would you actually take home? The regal Afghan Hound? The cloud-like Samoyed? Or would you go straight to the top and walk out with a blue Frenchie worth $100,000? Drop your answer in the comments because we genuinely want to know. And if this list taught you something you did not know before, hit the like button, subscribe if you have not already, and share this with someone who thinks they know everything about dogs, because clearly there is always more to learn. We will see you in the next one.